your loved one just came out to you. How do you even react? Hello you beautiful human, I am Xanthe, and in today's video I'm going to be sharing with you some tips and tricks on how to react when someone who you love comes out to you. Now this can be really scary, especially since you've probably known this person for a really long time, you thought you knew them really well, and now all of a sudden there's someone else. Well, I just want to first of all say that they are still the same person that they were. They're just a more real version of their beautiful self. So just think of yourself as having honor to know this about them and to dive deeper into who they truly are. Now, what do you even say to someone when they're like, hey, I'm a lesbian, for example? Obviously it can be anything else, but I'm a lesbian, so that's my example. So I'm like, hey, I'm a lesbian. Well, what are you supposed to say? Well, I'm going to give you a couple examples of kind of like the general idea of what's a good thing to say to kind of help that person feel comfortable and loved and supported through this coming out journey. So first of all, you can say, I love you. You are amazing. I'm so proud of you. You could say something like, thank you so much for sharing this with me. I feel honored. And you can make it more about like being honored that they've told you rather than kind of reacting to, oh, you're a different person than I thought you were, which they're not. They're just a more real version of themselves now, or they're expressing themselves. So things like I love you, or this changes nothing, I still love you, like I accept you, or thank you so much for sharing this with me, I feel honored. Things like that are really nice to say, and they help that person feel comfortable, loved, and supported. Now with things that are good to say comes some things that you might want to avoid saying. If you said these things before, do not worry, it's perfectly okay. These are just some things that I would suggest trying to avoid in the future, just because sometimes it can make that person feel a little insignificant or unimportant or even invalid. So I'll give you these examples. So the first example is, I knew it. Right? I mean, even if you did know it, well, congratulations for knowing that you probably knew before that person did. But saying, I knew it, kind of makes that person feel a little bit like, oh, I guess I'm not that special, I'm not really of value maybe, or like, I don't know, this is insignificant in my life, because this person is building up a lot of courage to come out to you and share who they are with you. So sometimes saying things like, I knew it, or man, like finally you figured it out, can be a little maybe not so preferred, let's say. So that's something I would avoid in the future. Now, reactions are not only with words, they're also body language. So, I don't know why I just did that, but I felt like it. But anyway, there is body language that also helps that person feel comfortable and cared for and like just accepted in general. So some things that you can do is kind of try to stay more casual. So maybe this person's like, hey, parent or friend or sibling, etc., can you please take a seat? I just want to tell you something. So this person is already feeling a lot of anxiety because they're sharing something really personal with you. So the best thing that you can do is sit there and smile, maybe kind of a more warm, soft kind of stance, like maybe like kind of more laid back, but not too laid back, if that makes sense. Because some things to avoid, which we'll get into a little bit later, are like kind of looking stern or like anticipating what they're gonna say. So if you kind of just like sit there ready to take in what they're going to say to you with no judgment, just ready, then that might also help them feel comfortable to tell you, because the thing that you really don't want is them to pick up on your, I guess, energy or your body language and be like, oh, this is not a good time, maybe I'll just tell them later, because you want them to tell you, obviously, right? So yeah, just keeping a more casual, warm kind of stature might help them to feel a little bit more comfortable. Now, when the person actually comes out to you, the reaction that they're looking for is always different. Everyone's different. But I would say that the majority of people just want support. So what you could do is you could stand up and be like, oh, thank you so much. You can give them a hug or hold their hand or just like hold their shoulders or just like be around them. Kind of like get a little bit closer and show them like that you accept them and that you support them and that they can come to you for anything, right? So those are the kind of things I would do with body language wise. So I'll tell you a couple things that I would avoid. So some things that I would avoid would be like standing cross or stern, or like, I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain, but you know when someone's like anticipating what you're gonna say, they're like, I'm ready, bring it on. Maybe that might be not the best idea, just because, I don't know, it feels a little kind of like an interrogation if someone's like waiting, they're like, okay, tell me. So maybe just like avoid doing that kind of physical movement. Anyway, so yeah, basically just anything that would look kind of cross or stern or like anticipation, because that might scare them off and then they might not even come out to you, which you don't want. If you do not understand their sexuality, let's use asexual for an example. Asexuality is something that a lot of people identify with, but not so many people know about it or even understand it. So what you could do, the best thing that you can do to support your loved one or your friend, etc., is to ask them what it means. I mean, like, yes, you can use Google, you can use YouTube, but honestly, the best information that you're going to get for that specific person is from that person. Because again, like, everyone is different, even though we have the same identities, like all straight people like the opposite sex, all lesbians like girls, and so we have that in common, but there are small things that we each have that are a little bit different than another person. So if you want to get to know that person a little bit better, just ask them, hey, I support you, thank you so much for coming out to me, I love you, I'm so proud of you. I honestly don't really understand what your sexuality or your identity means. Could you explain it to me? And then they would explain it to you. So that's just like an extra little bonus tip over here if you don't understand what their identity is. I really hope that this video helped you. If it did, please just give it a like so I know if this was helpful, and comment down below like your most aha moment while you were watching this video. Was it the words to say, the words not to say, maybe the stature, maybe the little bonus tip that I just gave at the end? You can comment down below what was like your most aha moment or most helpful moment in this video, so then I know what I'm most helpful with. So if you know anybody who would benefit from this video, you can just click the little share button. It's just right down here. It's a little arrow, and you can copy the link and just send it to them or whatever, and that would hopefully help them. Have a lovely day. I will see you next time in this video where I actually explain what it's like to be out. So if you want to understand kind of like what it's like to be out from a lesbian, you can check out this video here, and yeah, see you in there.